evening. Welcome to the regular session of the Swampscott School Committee. Today is Thursday, June 16th. I hope that everyone who's on Zoom can hear. Martha, will you wave your hand if you can hear me?
She gave a thumbs up.
Okay. All who can, please rise to join the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone, I am taking Amy's place for a little while tonight. She's at the high school awards ceremony. Congratulations to Cece for something that we don't know yet. Anyone have some committee announcements? Glenn?
No, actually I don't.
John? The only announcement I have is I want to congratulate the parents and the students who are moving on this week. At the middle school, I know there's a moving on ceremony tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And same thing at the elementary schools. There seems to be ceremonies at each of them tomorrow. So congratulations to those fourth to fifth graders and 8th to 9th graders. And also, I think I heard the June 10th event today at Town Hall was really exciting, and lots of kids spent their half day there.
Yes.
So that was great.
It was very calculated that Mr. Kalishman requested that we go to an early release day. Lots of the teachers walked down there with the students, and there was a great turnout.
Yeah.
That's great.
Very impressive.
I could hear them from my house. I'm like, what's going on? When I was at work. Yeah, so that was awesome. So this is great. Turn it right over to you, Superintendent.
Sounds great. At the last school committee meeting, I had requested that we move a couple of items to this week's meeting. And the first is community service project updates. Annually, the schools submit to us the community service projects that their school has participated in. And I'm just going to highlight some of them. Certainly in your packets or in the drive, the supporting documentation, you can read everything. One of the very popular things that the elementary schools do that's run by Rachel Eisenberg, one of our art teachers, is the Pinwheels for Peace in September, celebrating the International Day of Peace. They took part in art and literacy projects and created a planting of the pinwheel messages of peace on Linscott Park. At Clark School, they did Thanksgiving food baskets, Veterans Day cards. All schools participate in Swampscott Toys for Local Children, which is very successful. One of the new endeavors they took on was in response to the Ukraine invasion. The elementary schools raised money for World Central Kitchen, and together they raised $7,086.49. Lots of other things. TLC is very common. Veterans Day artwork from the Stanley School students distributed to the Swampscott veterans. Earth Day cleanup. We can move into the middle school and high school. They did Soldiers Angels candy collection, Halloween candy that was donated to troops. They did a Anchor Food Pantry, a food collection drive. They also organized a World Kitchen fundraiser, and they raised $430. Moving on to the high school, we have our Tech Ninjas who continue to support and volunteer our Swampscott Senior Center. The Outdoor Activity and Conservation Club did Swampscott High School campus trash cleanup, and they donated approximately $300 to two different North Shore and Cape and the Island wildlife organizations. The girls' soccer team made lunches for My Brother's Table. And the Swampscott High School and Swampscott Senior Center strengthened their relationship by adding a new shoveling volunteer program that I mentioned earlier in the year, that we had seniors volunteering to shovel for our senior citizens who aren't able to do it on their own. So that those are just some of the highlights of the community service projects that took place for the 21-22 school year.
It's great to still hear so many happening, even though the first half of the year was kind of wonky.
Really
That's
was,
great.
and it's quite impressive when that World Central Kitchen, the donations that our schools were able to make.
Yeah.
Very generous. The next item I am not reading through. It is something that we share with the school committee annually. We submit a report, we have to submit a report, an annual report, to the town clerk, and it has to be in this format. And she compiles, or now he compiles, all of the annual reports from the department. And in this annual report, we talk about new hires, retirees, people that have resigned, and then really a highlight of each of the schools and what has occurred during the year for their particular school. This happens to be last year's annual report, and typically this is the time of year it comes in. We're about a year behind. So this is the July 2020 to the June 2021 report. And as I said years ago, I thought that I could change the format of this and make it a bit prettier, but we have very strict guidelines as to how it gets submitted to the town, and this is the format in which it goes.
I'm okay with the format after all these years.
I know.
You know, I'm okay with the format, but
We've accepted it.
sometimes you read it and, it's gonna be different when we have one elementary school, because
It
the
is.
elementary school, narratives are all so different
It is.
with a lot of the same material.
Yep.
You know, and then just to, you know, have all the schools sort of reporting on the same stuff would be great, but, I know some people read old reports from old annual reports. I learned that at town meeting this year when Anne went to speak. I can't think of her last name right now.
Driscoll.
Driscoll,
Yeah.
thank you. Anne Driscoll spoke, and she talked about reading some old annual town
Yeah.
reports from the school and the town. So it's just like, it really is probably a great historical record at some point.
I know.
Yeah.
Be reading about us.
We just sort of take it for granted right now.
Right.
Like, we just sort of read it and we're like, oh, yeah, we know. But,
Almost like a time capsule.
yeah,
in
but
some
like, you
ways.
know,
Absolutely.
100 years from now, this will be really interesting.
So the final item on my agenda is an updated surplus list from Stanley.
Do you want
What
me to share that?
Sure, if you want.
You know,
So at the last school committee meeting, we shared many, many pages of what we were declaring surplus. This comes in as more furniture. What happens is we had a Stanley School database that was being kept, and then these additional items were from our moving consultant, who also inventoried that entire building. So these were just items that weren't on the last sheet. And so these are like storage cabinets, bookshelves, round shelving, laminate tables, circulation desk, ball pit, which we are getting rid of because it's a petri dish of germs, refrigerator. So it's not a lengthy list, it just goes on to the second page, but these are the items that didn't make it to that original surplus list, and we're just requesting a vote to declare the remainder of these surplus so that we can dispose of them.
can I ask you a question about these?
Sure.
They're just gonna be taken out of the building, and are some of these going to organizations that
Yes.
ask for it?
Yes.
I'm asking because a couple different people have reached out, like Recharge reached out, and I sort of showed them the surplus list, but I said I'm not really sure what's taken yet.
So, once they're declared surplus, we will have them up for grabs, and if somebody would like to reach out to me directly, or Max Casper, we are willing to take people in, and surplus,
Okay.
they can just take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gave Reach Arts the first list we had, and
Great.
they weren't really interested in that stuff, but I see some more stuff here that maybe they can look at.
Yeah.
But I also, I was also thinking about our playground equipment. Like, we didn't call any of that surplus, that's going away with the demo, but if someone wanted to take something,
I don't know if that would be a liability issue.
well, if they take it, is it?
And
I just-
install it, I don't know about,
Yeah, I just don't know. I just know I actually was just walking by a preschool today, and I just was like, God, they don't have much in their backyard.
my
Like,
concern is the reinstallation and, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think.
That's a really great question. I would guess that it's really a liability issue, but if it's not, I agree with you. Why just, if it's usable and
Yeah.
a preschool.
That's a Max
wants it-
question.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Max. We went over to Stanley again and looked at that playground equipment, and even some of the stuff I thought that was okay was, you know, chipped and paint was missing and stuff like that, but it's still someone, you know.
Well, I feel that way about this list. This, you know, there are very usable items here in terms of furniture, if,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Could some of it be put at Hadley?
Nobody needs anything in the classrooms at Hadley.
Well, I meant, I'm sorry, I meant
Blaney?
the playground stuff.
Oh,
You know, like the swings and back, I know have always been terrible, but, you know.
Well,
I don't
that's-
know the answer to that, so we'll have to
Well,
find that
that's
out.
a Linscott Park thing. That's a town, swings are a town thing.
Yeah.
But,
But if something's usable, you're right, I mean,
Yeah,
why not
something's
have someone repurpose it? I mean, I think
yeah, I
it'd be
mean,
great.
there's enough organizations in town or preschools
Absolutely.
or whatever to just,
Yeah, I completely, as long as there's no liability on our side, I think,
I don't know.
why not?
You don't have a liability when you have a tag sale, right?
That's a very good point.
But whatever. Okay, so any more discussion on this?
No,
I need someone to make a motion to approve this surplus list.
I will make a motion to approve the surplus
And
list.
second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
I have just texted Amy to come on down, but if you want to go through the new school committee students representatives?
Yeah, I can, I didn't know, hold on a second. Just have to pull that out. I'm excited this year to get new student reps, because last year, you know, it was so hard to get to know the two women because we spent so much of the time on Zoom, and then I think we just saw Maggie at the very last one. We never even saw,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just sad. It's so like not having those little side conversations with the kids.
Yeah.
So this will be exciting. So we have two new reps. Both are in grade 12 next year, and we have Jessie Goodwin and Afia Botari. So this is exciting. Two people I don't know at all. I'm excited to like get to know some new kids.
Me too.
It'd be great to actually, you're right, be here with us.
I know, because usually you sit next to them and you
Yeah.
like,
Get to know them.
you chat
Right.
with them
Yeah.
and you know, laugh about things with them, and just, yeah, in a different way that we never really got to small
Right.
talk with.
Well, as someone that, you know, for the first year, I just saw you guys on Zoom, I can tell you the person's a lot better, so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Amy, welcome back. Turning it over to you.
Oh, good. I'm excited to be here. I'm at my
Yeah.
daughter's next door. Do we know, are there teachers on with us?
We do.
Oh,
We
good.
have a few attendees, yep.
Okay. So next up, we're going to be taking a ratification vote, a vote for ratification of the new teacher's contract. And I just prepared a little something that I want to read. For the better part of the last decade, the superintendent and her business office, along with the school committee, have worked diligently to control growth. The costs of many segments of our annual budget have escalated far outside of our 2% town growth cap. Annually, the superintendent and her team, using a zero-based budgeting approach that was codified by the Collins Center, work to build a budget based on current student needs. However, controlling growth in education, unfortunately, means controlling salaries, because that is more than 80% of our budget. Over the past 15 years, contract negotiations have done away or sunsetted many benefits for our teachers, like sick leave buyback, double longevity, and more recently, in lieu of higher COLAs, more typical in other districts, teachers' years were, their hours, days were shortened. Now we find ourselves with a school district that is short on elementary school day. Now we find ourselves with a school year that is short, elementary school day that is short, and a group of educators who've taken below-market COLAs for the last decade. So that sets the stage for our most recent negotiations. The end result being that the district and the teachers' union are prepared to enter a new contract that reflects major gains for student time on learning as well as teacher preparation time. As was highlighted in the district NEASC report and as part of our accreditation process, these are two issues that are critical for meaningful forward growth in the Swampscott School District. The current teachers' collective bargaining agreement ends on August 31st, 2022, and the negotiations in 2019, which led to the current contract, were so contentious that they disabled progress in our district. The level of acrimony caused by demeaning negotiations impacted positive working relationships, and compounding this is the obvious strain that COVID has had on our educators. The superintendent, school committee, and Swampscott Education Association decided it was in the district's best interest to explore something called interest-based bargaining for our next negotiation cycle. And we jointly agreed to train for this new method of bargaining and embark together on formal training. During the following months, we met for over 50 hours to come to the tentative agreement that we're going to present here today. I believe that this is a good contract. I think it's fair to say that this new process not only yielded a new contract, but it developed a new understanding from both sides about the difficulties that the others face. This process resulted in problem solving, reestablished positive relationships between all parties, which is a critical necessity for district improvement. So, everybody should have seen the contract, and obviously we've all lived it, so we know what was in it. But for public information, the agreements, the agreement calls for, the highlights are a 3-3-3 COLA, so 3% each year for the next 3 years. Increased time to the elementary school day, both for students and teachers, which represents a significant addition to time on learning and also for teacher preparation. We also had increased the school day at the high school, which adds an additional 880 minutes. The current contract has 20 meetings in it, which we have restructured to include 30 40-minute meetings.
33.
33. Oh, yes, that I actually have that written down. 33 40-minute meetings. Thank you. The teachers are going to join us going forward at the high school night for rising ninth graders, or rising eighth graders, I think we'd call them.
Yes.
Kids coming into the high school, which we felt was really important so that families could really understand all the great things that are happening at that school. And in addition, we are going to increase the hourly rate for our grant writers, curriculum development, special projects occurring outside of the teacher workday, also by 3-3-3 over the next 3 years. So those are the highlights. I think I don't know who is on Zoom with us, but I want to say a special thank you to the SEA union reps, led by Becca Buckland, Sue Comparato, Tom Reed, Natalie Poverchuk, Margaret Ardman, Brian O'Donnell, and Michelle Yanofsky. It was an absolute pleasure to work with you guys during this process. It has been really rewarding, and I know I speak for the entire school committee saying that it was really a great learning process for us to understand what your days are like, what your struggles are like, and we really appreciate the work that you've done, particularly post-COVID, and so are delighted that we could come to agreement on this. So I'll look to the, if you want to call a vote.
Sure. I just want to first say, I want to also thank the teachers, and I had never been in the bargaining sessions before, so I didn't experience the last round, but this was really pleasant, and I really enjoyed getting to know the teachers a little bit better and really listening to them, and I think that it was amazing how we worked together. I really was sort of nervous going into it, like, are we going to get to that point? And we really did. I think it was really collaborative, and I think it's a great contract, and I'm happy for the teachers that we were able to, like, really listen and think about their duties and you know, their meetings and what they needed changed. So it was great. It was great. So ready to call it. You want to say anything?
I do. I just want to reiterate what you guys are saying. I know from my first go-around as a school committee member, when it was contentious at best, I learned, I agree with you, Suzanne, I learned a lot about what our educators do on a day, I mean, really granularly on a day-in, day-out basis. And I think that the SEA and the representatives learned just a little bit about how we operate here and the structure and the challenge in that we are in this little, this box of what we have to do. But I thought the negotiations were great. I learned a lot. It was actually, you know, a pleasure. Again, it's how we set this up with the, you know, how the interest-based bargaining was just a stroke of genius on everyone's part.
Yeah, thanks to Martha Seibert
Yeah.
for really bringing it or insisting on it a
I
little
mean,
bit.
absolutely. It really was a
Yeah.
stroke of genius.
Yeah.
And I think it just helped with, you know, the easy things, the challenging things, but the dialogue was just really great throughout. And I'm really excited that, you know, the two teams could work together to really come to a contract that both sides are really pleased with.
Yeah. And there's not much I can add to what's been said. I think,
Ditto.
you know, I think this was my first go-around with an SEA negotiation, so I learned a lot. I'm really glad I had the opportunity to listen. Because I did learn a lot from what the teachers were saying, and, you know, I think that will just inform what I do here that much more going forward. So I appreciate the tone of the negotiations. I just think that's important to reiterate that. You know, I wasn't in the last ones, I wasn't here, but, you know, I definitely followed it very closely.
You're lucky.
So,
I can appreciate that.
I do want to add one other thing. I think it's important to point out, as we've also pointed out with our Finance Committee, in a memo that the superintendent shared with the Finance Committee and the Select Board, that this agreement follows in the footsteps of what is happening with other unions in town. There is a real give to get. I think that this puts the teachers with parity with what the other unions are getting, which was really important, I know, for all of us. And in a give to get process, you know, we're delighted to be able to give the teachers union what they asked for. But we are delighted that they worked with us to give the students what they need, which is more time on learning. So I am impossibly grateful for what we've accomplished. So,
sure. So with that, someone want to make a motion do we ratify the 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25 contract?
yep. So I will make a motion to ratify the contract with the SEA Teachers Union, Unit A, dated as of June 15th, 2022.
I will second that motion.
Super. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yay. It feels so great to have a
Yeah,
nice
it
3-year
does.
contract
Does,
done.
yes, it
And
does.
ahead of schedule.
And just so you know, Margaret Odman, Michelle Yanofsky, Natalie Poverchuk, Becca Buckland, and Sue Comparato are all attending.
Oh,
So
Hey,
thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody wants it's not on the agenda, but maybe we give them an opportunity to talk if they want to.
Do any one of you wonderful SEA negotiators want to say anything? If you do, just raise your hand.
Oh, Becca and Sue.
Yeah.
Yay.
Go ahead, Becca.
Wait, we gotta ask to unmute. Okay, Becca, you're up.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I just want to say, I feel like it was a wonderful process, and I can't thank all of you enough for such a wonderful collaboration and the way that we worked so well together to really listen to one another and come to this agreement. This is my 4th contract, and I feel like this was the best that we have ever worked on. It was really a pleasure. So I am really eternally grateful for the work that we've all done together, and I'm really happy with the way that this process turned out, so thank you.
Thank you, Becca. I think
Thank
one of
you.
us I was thinking early this morning that somebody should reach out to our trainer and let them know that we completed the process successfully. I think it was Mary Ellen Shea, Becca, and we should
Yeah.
circle back and just tell her,
Yeah.
you know, you'd be proud of the work that we've done for the last 9 months, and that we were able, it works.
Yeah.
Worked.
Yeah, I was thinking of that this morning. I'll work on that
Work.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that would.
I know,
That
I
would
want to
be fun.
acknowledge to the teachers that we were all a little nervous about whether or not it would work.
But they were too,
And I
right?
said we were all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sue's hand is up as well. Let me just unmute you, Sue, wait a minute. Go ahead, Sue.
I just want to reiterate what Becca said, that it was a great process, and this was my first time in negotiations. And I also want to just take a moment to acknowledge that the reason why this process went as well as it did is the relationship that the SEA has built with the superintendent over this year. After our last negotiations, it was damaged, and we needed some time to rebuild it. And as a team, and along with Pam, we really worked hard to rebuild that relationship. So thank you for all your collegiality. And it was a great process, and hopefully next time around it will be just as good.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, I'm glad she mentioned that, because I know you spent a lot of time
Right.
in discussions with them through the year.
Well, it's very, very exciting. I, for one, am thrilled, and I don't remember bargaining and having a contract settled prior to the expiration of a contract in my tenure. So
Right.
I know it happened. I've been told it happened, but not for a very long
How
time.
great it's not hanging over the summer.
Oh,
Right.
it's
I-
fantastic.
I think it's really amazing that as opposed to what we all believed about negotiations, where we would all come out feeling a little bit miserable about it, I hope that I'm not speaking out of turn for the teachers. I think this is a win-win all around.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
All good. Good
All right.
success. Good success.
Yay. We were gonna table the election? Is that
I want to table it, I want
Yeah.
to table it because Karen's not here,
That's a
for
hearing.
sure.
I want you to go to the.
Yeah, and I'd love to go see.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
should
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're excused. Subcommittee update is next on the agenda, and SBC, we have a meeting next Tuesday night at 6:30. It's going to be in this room, and on the 22nd, we're going to have a community forum. It's going to be in the middle school library. Some project updates, some schedule updates, and then some talk about some construction considerations. And then it's going to be mostly question and answers, and allowing people who come to the meeting to sort of let us know what they're thinking, or what they want, or what they're worried about, or what they're excited about. Like, hopefully our architect will be showing some new renderings
Great.
of the, like a quick little virtual walkthrough of the building. So it's exciting. We're at 6 on Tuesday night, the committee is voting on 60% construction design. So that's a huge milestone, because just following this really quickly is going to be 90%, and then we're going to be off and running. And also, I want to thank the teachers. I want to thank Ms. Mackie Knowles for sort of organizing, or helping to organize this furniture showcase today. So there's lots of furniture upstairs in the library that teachers have been dropping in, elementary school teachers have been dropping in to see potential furniture, kids' desks, teachers' desks,
Oh, great.
storage, just whiteboards, all sorts of things that we're gonna put in the new school, and the lower school and upper school are kind of gonna have some different things depending on the kids' age and stuff. And so the teachers have a checklist to prioritize what they like the best, and it's great. It's so exciting. It really feels like real.
Yeah, it's really.
There's a lot of furniture up there, and I am just indebted to the teachers that took time out of their day, their planning periods, to get up here and really rank the furniture. So I was excited to see it. It's like you don't realize the endless possibilities until they're in front of you. It's really exciting.
And you forget, we've been the same way for so long here.
Right.
I mean, we might have plastic chairs instead of old wooden desk chairs, right? But there's so much more furniture and so many different shapes and just stuff. It's just fun, and teachers were really excited that we're
That's
there
great.
when I was there. It was
Mhm.
fun.
It's good.
Yeah, so I hope people will tune in or come to the community forum at the middle school library. And then after that, there's a walk over to Stanley School. So There's from 7:30 to probably 8:30, we'll be able to be in Stanley School, and if you can't make it at night, during the day, from 12:30 to 1:30.
2:30.
Oh, 12:30 to 2:30 is another time for people, anyone in the community, everyone in the community to just come through and walk through. It's gonna be a bittersweet ceremony tomorrow for that 4th grade class.
It was today.
Oh, today? It was
Yep.
today?
How'd it go?
I was in a school building meeting
Oh.
for 2 hours, so I wasn't able to go. But successfally, we did have the field ready.
Right,
And it looked gorgeous.
that's why I asked.
So,
I know
beautiful day. I'm sure it went well.
All
very
right, I'm
well.
glad.
Good.
I'm glad, that's hard. All right, so on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is designed to expedite the handling of routine and miscellaneous business of the district. The school committee may adopt the entire consent agenda with one motion. At the request of any committee member, any items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda for discussion. We have the executive session minutes from June 7th, the regular session minutes from June 8th, a field trip request to Quebec from Ms. Barrett,
Yep, she's
Yeah.
on as an attendee, yep.
and another field trip request from Senora Baralt for Spain.
I would just mention that the Quebec trip I just looked up, is like a Friday through Sunday. It's March 3rd through March 5th in 2023. And then we are talking about the trip to Spain being April 17th through the 25th, which is likely April vacation. So my heart is full seeing that we're
So
doing
happy to
these
go
trips
back.
again,
I know,
so
how exciting. Huh?
Yeah.
How exciting. Those are great trips. Those are
Yeah.
great opportunities for the students.
I'm sorry I cut you off.
Yeah,
And Warren.
thanks for, I only knew the Spain was spring break, but I wasn't
Yep.
sure when the Quebec one was. No, that's awesome, and anyone want to make a motion to accept the,
I will make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
and any discussion, other than, I want to go on these trips?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot also, did I say warrant 22?
No, I cut you off, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, the other thing on the agenda that you're going to accept is warrant 22 through 50, so can I have a motion to accept everything, including 22 to 50?
So moved.
Thanks, Glenn. All right, second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And so, public comments. If anyone in the attendees would like to say anything?
Ms. Barrett's on.
Oh,
She
good,
has
maybe
raised
she'll
her
talk
hand.
about,
Yep.
Quebec.
Oh, I just want to say thank you very much for approving the trip. I'm really looking forward to it. It's my first year here at Swampscott, but I have run a trip to Quebec in the past from my previous school. I've only been in the summer before. This is a winter trip, but I know the school has done that in the past and they've been very successful. So I'm looking forward to taking the students and growing the French program at SHS.
Do you guys get to go to that ice castle or the ice,
Yeah, the Ice Hotel, we do get to go there. Yes,
Oh,
we do.
that's so awesome.
That's
I mean, I can
great.
stay in the nicest hotel in Quebec City as well, Chateau Frontenac. So I think it'll be just wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love Quebec.
So thank you so much for approving it. I appreciate
You're
it.
so welcome.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
And if you need chaperones. Any other public comments?
It's just Pink Smoothie Girl, which I think is Miss Mackey.
It is.
And I'm
She
not
is.
sure if she wants to say anything.
All right, so with that, we'll just make a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
All right.
this
Thank you.
meeting is closed. Thanks for being so fast.
Excellent.
Thank you.